months and 2 years of age are not fed food that supports their rapidly growing bodies and brains. And this puts them at risk of poor brain development, weak learning, low immunity, increased infections, and in many cases, death. Now, that's 2019. So I decided to try and find a report from 2020 up until now to see if it had changed. So this is from USAID, in fact, February 13 this year. And they also said that as it stands now, almost half of all deaths from children under 5 are attributable to malnutrition, which is why improving nutrition is imperative to achieving the global maternal and child survival goals. And so we're going to have a conversation this morning with a team that has decided to take it upon itself to support women, mothers who are ripe for childbearing, children within that age range as well, and fathers to economically empower them and to provide these supplements to make sure that these children grow the most healthy way. And it's a project that's called Improved Feeding Practices for the First 1,000 Days. In the studios with me, I have Priscilla and team. She's a project manager. Good morning to you. How are you doing?
Good.
You're good. Yeah. And we have Salome Wumpini Agodo. She's a project officer as well. Good to have you in the studios. Yeah. I mean, yes, I was trying to get the details about malnutrition to really understand how dire the situation is. But for anybody who's watching, who needs to really understand what malnutrition is, can you run us through that?
Okay. Thank you so much, and good morning to your lovely listeners and all viewers. And we also want to say a good morning to our national director, the senior leadership team, and also the SMT and all World Vision staff. So when we talk of malnutrition, we are looking at different indicators that affect children negatively. And so we'll have underweight, we'll have stunting, we will have wasting, and we also have overweight. And so children receive food that are not, the frequency is not in the right proportion, and also the ingredients or the nutrients in it are also not in the right proportion. The frequency too are not consistent, so at the end of the day, they don't get the required nutrient that is required for them to grow well as we want to see in every child. So you get a child, for example, who is maybe 2 years old, but you look at the child doesn't look like 2 years. So you look at the age and you look at the height, very short, and so you say that one is stunting. Then you look at a child who is very thin for the age, so that child is wasting. Then if you compare a child's age and also his weight, it doesn't match. So you say the child is underweight. Now you look at a child who is even more than, the weight is more than the age, that is overweight, which is a bit of concern, because now people want their children to be plumpy, big, and that. But all these have effects on the children. The long-term effect is there. So we have this childhood obesity that also comes in when they are overweight.
So let's just say maybe a 1-year-old. What should be the right weight requirements for such a child? Or are there other factors that also determine that, and not just the age?
Not just the age.
Not just the age.
Yes.
I see. So, but what's the real situation on the ground here in Ghana?
So just with reference to the recent demographic survey that was conducted, if you take stunting, it stands at 17.15% for the national level. And there are variations at the various districts and also the regions.
So when you say for the national level, children between what ages?
So the children between the age of under 5 years old. So you get the 17.5% who are stunted. That is their short for age. So if you look at their height and look at their age, it's not matching, and so
it's not about genetics, because some children are short too.
Yes, so
I like how Mrs. Wumpini is laughing.
yes.
Okay, so if I'm short and I see that my child is short, I shouldn't be too worried. As long as I'm feeding my child properly.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Give us the other details.
And we also have the anemia, where children between the ages of 6 months to 56 months, 59 months, the state there is 49%. Per the recent survey that was conducted. And also we have the underweight, which is 12.5%. And also we have the wasting, which is the thinness, which is 6.0%. So it's not a good thing that we need to really talk about it and try to put in more effort, because if you compare it to 2014, there hasn't been so much change.
We're still hovering over the same figures.
So we really need to do more and see to it that we get the right proportion, get the consistency, ensure that children are fed well, they are breastfed between the first 6 months, so that they will be able to get the required nutrients needed. So,
what really is the problem, Salome? Maybe you can come in here. Why is there really a challenge in making sure that children are fed properly? And in that case, what is your project seeking to achieve?
Okay, so much of the project, the problem has to do with how we feed our children and what we feed to the children. We are always advocating that when a baby is born, it is best for that baby to be exclusively breastfed for the first 6 months. Then after 6 months, you introduce the complementary feeding. But you find out that most mothers feel breast milk is not enough for the baby. And so they will add other things to the food and give to the baby. But at that stage, the child's digestive system is not even ready to digest all these things we try to introduce to them. Then during complementary feeding, most mothers don't offer variety of meals to the child. Even when they try to offer the quantity and then the consistency and also the conditions under which these meals are also prepared is a big issue. So with the Improved Feeding Practices project, we focused on pregnancy because we are looking at the first 1,000 days, and the first 1,000 days starts from day 1 of conception. Immediately the woman gets pregnant. Then the diet of the woman will have to change, and she must be more aware of the health of the baby and try to feed on healthy meals that will help the baby to develop well. When the baby is born, like I already said, exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months, and then after the 6 months, you introduce other foods and continue to breastfeed until the child is 2 years.
Until they're 2 years?
Yes, until the child is 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because my friend was breastfeeding her child that's 2.5 years, and I was worried that it was...
It doesn't really matter. You can continue to breastfeed after 2 years.
To make your breast flat, or... No, let's not digress. We'll come to this conversation later, so we understand. But, so what are some of these foods that pregnant women should consume in the first 1,000 days?
Okay. So, for a pregnant woman, we have the 4-star diet, which consists of the grains, that is the staples, the proteins, the animal sources. We have the eggs, the meat. Then we have the nuts and the seeds. Then we also have the dark green vegetables, the leaves, the kontomire, the alefu, the ayoyo. All these things are very, very good for pregnant women. They contain a lot of vitamins and iron, which is very essential for pregnant women because that is what helps with the blood. Anemia, when my Priscilla was talking, mentioned 49%, which is very, very high. And most hospitals are really battling with this issue. So if a woman is pregnant, it is really, really important that she eats a well-balanced meal, which will contain food from all these groups that I mentioned, and then also at least an extra meal. In addition to the 3 meals that we are aware of, there should be an extra meal for the woman. So
some of them do 5 extra meals. So this extra meal you're saying, yes, they have gone past it.
But some people don't really get it.
Yeah.
Some women don't get it. That is why I'm putting emphasis on the extra meal because it's really important. And we are talking about this first 1,000 days because in fact, at this stage, that is where the foundation of life for a human being is formed. That is where brain development starts, cognitive functions, body size, and all those things. That is the period all these things are formed. So if there is a problem, then the child carries it into adulthood, which can affect him or her later in life.
Now, all these things that you're mentioning, the foods that you're mentioning, of course, for someone who can afford, to a large extent, they'll be able to ensure that they're eating everything in, great proportion to ensure that the child develops properly. But we know about our hinterlands and all these underdeveloped areas within Ghana that don't necessarily have access to all these foods. What are you doing, or what intervention is the IFP trying to ensure that it gives to these people so they can also provide that level of quality for their babies?
Yeah, so if you look at the IFP project, we are focusing in 3 districts.
Okay.
So we have the Katsina-Nankana West district in the Upper East region. We have the Kintampo South district, and we also have the Setre East district. And so if you look at all these districts, we are looking at 70 communities, 24 in Katsina, 21 in Kintampo, and 25 in Setre. And so these are hard to reach areas. So the project supplied them with biofortified crops, that is orange flesh sweet potato, which contains...
Orange what?
Flesh sweet potato.
Okay.
So it contains a lot of vitamin A that when they consume, it also helps in their eye functioning. So we supply this orange flesh sweet potato vines to selected farmers. We also supply them with poultry beds. So we help them and train them to nurse these poultry beds to a stage where they can get an egg to consume in a day.
Okay.
So we have women in these communities that are consuming eggs every day because of the project. Aside that, we also supply them with moringa seedlings, pawpaw seedlings, and also mango seedlings, which will complement for them to get the vitamins that they require. So now when you look at all what we have put together, they'll be able to get these 4-star diets from what we have given them. And aside that, we are also continuing and giving them information because they will need the information to be able to know the proportion that they need to eat, the consistency, and also the frequency.
Okay.
And so we have done all this together with our partner, that is Ghana Health Service and the Department of Agric, to support us in reaching out to the farmers and the women beneficiaries in the project.
Oh, so it's not just women, farmers as well?
Yes, so we have selected farmers in these communities, male champions who are supporting in
selected. So can you give us details about the criteria for selecting these people that you're working with in these communities?
Yeah, so this is done in consultation with the community because they know who is vulnerable and who needs what. So per each district, together with the key stakeholders, they help us to get the farmers, that is the women groups and also the men groups who really need it, and will support them with the technical know-how from the Agric Extension agent and also Ghana Health Service team for them to be able to cultivate and consume.
How long has this project been running for, Salome?
Okay, this project has been running for 3 years now.
Okay.
Yes, and we are in the final year.
Oh, this is the final year?
Yes.
Why are you ending so soon? You haven't even reached some of us yet. And you're ending already. Tell us a bit about the achievements and why it's ending this year.
Yeah. The project was funded by the Japan Social Development Fund through the World Bank. We have implemented in the 3 districts, and we have been able to reach out to 70 communities. Out of these 70 communities, we have established mother-to-mother support groups. These are groups of women who meet on a regular basis to learn about how to take care of pregnant women and then children under 2 in their communities. These women also learn about how to cook their meals so that it will be nutritious for the children and also for the pregnant women as well. Then we also have the male champions, where we have a group of men who also meet to learn about how they can support their wives in the homes to care for their children. We have also this group, we call them village-based entrepreneurs. These are women we selected, and we introduced a nutritional supplement, which is to support the mother to be able to feed the child with the required nutrients that the child needs in a day. So these village-based entrepreneurs, they sell the nutritional supplements in the communities. In fact, when we started the project, 1 sachet of the supplement was 50 pesos. But due to some economic changes and hardships, the price had to go up to 1 cedi.
Okay.
Yes.
Are they able to afford?
Yes, they are able to afford, because mothers have now seen how important the supplement is. And so mothers are willing to buy it.
I see.
Yes.
That's not bad then. Okay.
Yeah, then the farmers. We have farmers who are now into poultry, household level poultry. You go to a house, they have a very small pen where they have 25 bears, 20 bears that they are taking care of. So in a day, any child who is in the house that falls between the ages of 6 months to 2 years is able to get 1 egg to eat a day. Then we also have the orange flesh sweet potato farmers who also cultivate these potatoes. And then we have actually trained the women on how to utilize the sweet potato, how they can prepare it with their meals, how you can add it to your banku you are preparing at home, add it to your stew you are making at home, so that your children can get a nutritious meal.
But it's ending this year?
Yes, it's ending this year.
So what's next? Are you going to continue somewhere? Are you looking for funding? What's happening now?
So
we are
actually looking for funding to scale up. Because if you take Setchue East, they have 40 communities in the district, and we are working in just 25 communities. So what happens to the remaining? If you take Katsina, Nankana, Kintampo South, they are not different. So it's about 100 communities, and you are doing just 21, or you are doing just 25 communities. So it's not enough. So we are actually looking forward to scale up and calling out to donors and philanthropists to support, because you are seeing the results. This is about practices, because once you gain the knowledge, the next step is for the person to practice. And once you get that figure, it means that you are making impact. And if with the little money given, you are able to reach that stamp